Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Big news today, there's talk of a stimulus check before the end of 2025. President Trump recently announced that he's considering sending every American a check somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000, and that includes seniors on Social Security and people on disability benefits. The goal, according to him, is to get the legislation passed before the year ends. A few months ago, Trump had proposed a $600 stimulus check, which actually made it into the Senate. So now the big question is, will this new plan replace that $600, or will it be on top of it, bringing the total to $2,600? Right now, the details aren't completely clear, but it's enough to get people talking. There are a few major news outlets covering this. The New York Post reported that Trump is considering a $2,000 tariff dividend for Americans. Axios shared what you need to know about his pitch for these $2,000 checks, and Newsweek highlighted that the president wants to provide up to $2,000 to each American. The numbers are big, the idea is bold, and people are already weighing in. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the stimulus should be $1,000, $2,000, or stick with the original $600? Drop your thoughts in the comment section because this is a conversation that affects millions of Americans. Some people, however, are already speaking out against it. Critics say giving out more stimulus checks could stoke inflation, something many Americans are still feeling from previous stimulus efforts during the pandemic. Even though inflation numbers have been reported as lower, everyday prices for goods and services are still high, and that's especially tough for seniors on fixed incomes. Here's the backstory. A few months ago, Senator Josh Hawley introduced legislation for a $600 tariff rebate for Americans. The idea was to share the wealth generated from President Trump's tariff policies. This bill made it into the Senate, but there was no version in the House, which meant it likely wouldn't happen in 2025. And that's why, until now, many of us had assumed there wouldn't be a stimulus check this year. But now, Trump is back in the news talking about $1,000 to $2,000 checks, which could potentially replace the $600 plan. He's calling it almost like a dividend to the American people, funded by tariffs. So far, the Treasury Department reports that tariff revenue in 2025 has totaled around $214 billion, but Trump says this number could grow to over $1 trillion. He argues that part of this money could be used to pay down the national debt, while another portion could go directly to Americans. Of course, there's debate. Some economists say the money would be better used to reduce the deficit rather than giving it out in checks. Others warn that sending out more money could push prices even higher, making inflation worse for families and seniors who are already struggling. For seniors, this conversation is particularly important. Healthcare costs are set to rise sharply next year. Medicare Part B premiums could go up by more than 11%, deductibles by 12%, and Part D costs by up to 6%. Meanwhile, the most generous Social Security cost of living adjustment being predicted is just 2.7%. So even if your Social Security benefits go up a little, your expenses, especially medical costs, could still outpace that increase. This is why any potential stimulus check is such a big deal. Trump wants these checks sent out. Critics are warning about inflation, and the clock is ticking to get any legislation passed before the end of the year. I want to hear from you. What do you think about a $1,000 to $2,000 stimulus check? Should it happen, or could it make things worse? Let me know in the comments below, because this is a conversation that affects millions of Americans. Stay tuned, because we'll keep tracking this story closely. I'll update you as soon as more concrete details come in, so you'll know exactly what to expect and when. And for seniors, keep an eye on Medicare updates and cost of living changes. These are just as important as any stimulus check. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Let's keep this conversation going. Your voice matters, and this is your chance to weigh in on something that could directly impact your wallet.